Welcome back to Cine Recaps. Today I'm going to walk you through a comedy film released in 2021 called Queenpins. Warning, spoilers ahead, watch carefully. The story begins in Phoenix, Arizona, where suburban housewife Connie is arrested at her own home in the middle of the night. She doesn't resist at all. As she's taken away, she reflects on how everything began months earlier. Connie was once a 3-time Olympic gold medalist in race walking, but that achievement never brought her wealth or fame. Now she lives with her husband Rick, an IRS auditor, and their relationship is strained and uncomfortable. The couple struggled to have children and spent a significant amount of money on fertility treatments. Tragically, when Connie finally became pregnant, she miscarried. After that, Rick chose to take a job that required frequent travel, keeping him away for 3 weeks out of every month. When he is home, he treats Connie poorly, constantly reminding her that she's unemployed, blaming her for the money lost on repeated treatments when he wanted to quit after the first one, and criticizing her for spending too much money on her coupon habit. And that habit is very real. Connie obsessively collects coupons, buys items in bulk, and stores everything in the nursery, lining the walls with products as a way to cope with her grief. One benefit of Rick being gone so often is that Connie becomes close friends with her neighbor JoJo, who also runs a YouTube channel focused on saving money and is just as obsessed with coupons. JoJo lives with her mother Josie and struggles to find steady work because her identity was stolen not long ago. In her spare time, she flirts with the mailman Earl and tries selling makeup door to door, though neither effort is very successful. Every time Connie shops at the grocery store, she hands cashier Greg stacks of coupons. The process slows down the line, but it also drops her total from over $100 to just $16.
Well, good for you, lady. You saved $122.10.
It is good for me.
Connie firmly believes that if you pay attention to the small expenses, the big ones will manage themselves. One afternoon, while organizing groceries, Connie notices baby-themed wallpaper hidden among the boxes. Overcome with emotion, she starts eating cereal, as if it might somehow ease her sadness. Instead, she realizes the cereal is stale. Fueled by frustration and bottled-up anger, Connie sends an angry complaint email to the cereal company. A few days later, she receives an apology letter along with a coupon for a free box of cereal. When she goes to redeem it at the store with a smug expression, Greg tells her she's not special. Companies routinely send free coupons to anyone who complains. This sparks an idea. Connie begins sending complaint letters to various manufacturers, even when nothing is wrong with the products, and soon receives a massive collection of free coupons. She shows them to JoJo, who is amazed by the tactic, and even offers to buy one of the coupons since it would still cost less than paying full price. That moment makes Connie realize that selling items she got for free would mean pure profit, and that it could become a real business. After researching online, Connie learns the coupons are printed in Mexico, not far from where they live, which gives her a new idea: steal the coupons and resell them. JoJo is hesitant at first, but overwhelmed by debt. She eventually agrees to help. Meanwhile, in Nevada, loss prevention officer Ken is working at a grocery store. When a cashier flags a coupon, Ken examines it and quickly determines it's fake. The store manager asks if they can honor it anyway, since the elderly woman using it has been a loyal customer for years, but Ken refuses, insisting on following the rules. His rude behavior earns him a stream of insults from the woman. A similar moment happens later on a flight home. A mother politely asks Ken if he could switch seats with her daughter so the child can watch the landing and calm down, but Ken refuses harshly, claiming it's an important lesson for the girl to learn. When he finally returns to his empty apartment in Utah, Ken vents his frustration by yelling at the television. The following day in Mexico, Connie and JoJo arrive near the coupon factory and watch as the workers clock out at the end of their shifts. They decide to approach Alejandro and Rosa, a couple who already seem willing to bend the rules and don't appear especially threatening. Connie and JoJo follow them by car, causing the couple to believe they're about to be robbed. However, once Connie and JoJo explain that they're looking for help, Alejandro and Rosa calm down and invite them to Alejandro's home to talk. There, Connie and JoJo learn that Rosa is pregnant and that the couple's wages are extremely low. This makes it easy for Connie and JoJo to present their proposal. If Alejandro and Rosa secretly take coupons from the factory, Connie and JoJo will sell them in the United States and share part of the profits. Alejandro is unsure about getting involved, but Rosa persuades him to do it for the sake of their unborn child. The plan itself is simple. The factory is split into two departments: printing, where Alejandro works, and redemption, where Rosa works. Each side generally has no idea what the other is doing. Every time coupons are printed, there are extra copies meant to be destroyed. Alejandro can divert those extras and ship them to Connie and JoJo using the factory's regular delivery trucks that travel throughout the U.S. Since the shipments only contain boxes of coupons, there are no issues crossing the border. A few days later, Connie and JoJo receive their first box of coupons. They quickly create a basic website to sell them and promote it on Connie's channel. The business takes off fast, bringing in huge amounts of money, but it doesn't go unnoticed. Supermarkets soon start raising concerns.
Oh, look at the free.
Savvy super saver, huh?
Keep an eye on that for me, okay?
Ken receives dozens of letters and phone calls from store managers complaining about the financial losses they're suffering. He launches a detailed investigation and eventually traces one of the coupon purchases back to a credit card number. After 11 days of work, Ken tracks down the housewife who used the coupon. From her, he learns about the website selling the coupons and that it's being promoted on YouTube by a black woman. When Ken returns to the office and opens the site himself, he recognizes the slogan, "If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves." Back with Connie and JoJo, they discover their PayPal account has been frozen because too much money came in too quickly. To get it unlocked, they need to prove they're running a legitimate business. Unsure how to do that, they panic and decide to contact Tina, a well-known hacker on the dark web. Tina scolds them for being so careless with their promotion, explaining that everything can be traced back to them. After deleting JoJo's videos, she tells them they need a proper front to launder the money. That includes fake IDs, multiple bank accounts, and a stash house to operate from. She also instructs them to wait 6 months before spending any money, allowing all connections to their real identities time to disappear. In exchange for her help, Tina takes 10% and gives them an encrypted USB drive to store their important files. Thanks to Tina's quick actions, Ken finds no remaining digital evidence to follow. He brings the case to the FBI, but they dismiss coupon fraud as a joke and assign it to their lowest-ranking desk worker, Albert. With nothing else going on, Albert accepts the case. Using JoJo's cosmetics brand as a front and Tina's fake identities, the coupon scam begins growing into a highly profitable operation once again.
Sitting here waiting, think you know my number by now.
Okay, what's with all the free coupons?
While Ken continues leaving daily messages for the FBI. 6 months later, Connie and JoJo are finally ready to spend their money, but they remember Tina's warning that it's still dirty and needs to be cleaned first. Recalling a story Rick once told about one of his clients, Connie realizes they need to buy expensive items and resell them so the profits appear legitimate. After persuading banks to give them large amounts of cash under the excuse that it's needed to hire employees for their cosmetics business, Connie and JoJo go on an extremely expensive shopping spree. They purchase sports cars, boats, a private plane, and even firearms.
If you get it, no disrespect.
Hold up.
It's time to punch yourself first. Don't stop.
Afterward, they travel to Las Vegas, where they talk about their future. JoJo plans to pay off her mother's mortgage, and Connie wants to attempt fertility treatments once again. Meanwhile, Ken finally gets the call he's been waiting for from the FBI. Albert tells him that nothing more can be traced online because a specialist erased all cookie data. However, since the coupons are still being shipped through standard mail, Albert says he'll send someone who can actually help. 2 days later, Ken meets Simon, a postal inspector. Simon takes on the case and asks Ken to order coupons from the website so they can examine how the operation works. When the envelope arrives a few days later, Simon immediately notices something off. The return address claims Kansas, but the digital stamp numbers show it actually came from Arizona. Simon plans to fly to Phoenix and invites Ken along, since Ken already knows the local grocery stores. Back with Connie, she schedules an appointment at a fertility clinic and brings JoJo for support, since she hasn't told Rick what she's doing. The doctor tells her this is her final chance, so Connie decides to use a donor instead of her husband. Later that night, Tina contacts them again to ask where the money went. She becomes furious when she hears their explanation, telling them they misunderstood everything. By using JoJo's cosmetics business, the money was already clean. Now, they must sell everything they bought immediately and deposit the cash back into the bank in small daily amounts. When Rick returns from his latest trip, he notices the new TV Connie bought. She tells him she got a sales job and no longer uses coupons. Rick is thrilled and calls her a new wife, which strengthens Connie's resolve to continue with the donor treatment. Meanwhile, Ken and Simon question cashiers across the area.
First of all, people literally forget you're even a human being.
We call her the, oh wait, I have a coupon lady.
And every time we tell him we're out, he always screams out, bullshit!
Asking about customers obsessed with coupons. When they reach Greg, they finally get useful information. He doesn't know Connie's name, but he describes her and mentions her saying about pennies, which Ken remembers from the website. The next day, they visit the local post office to see if any employees recognize a blonde woman connected to coupon mail. No one remembers Connie, but when coupons are mentioned, they point to Earl, who often watched JoJo's savings videos on YouTube. Back with Connie and JoJo, selling their items on eBay becomes overwhelming due to the volume. While stopping at a cafe, they meet two men from a gun club, get the address, and later visit with all their weapons for sale. JoJo delivers a strong pitch, but the leader refuses. The duo then offers a large discount if everything is bought at once, closing the deal.
60.
65? It's a good deal.
Okay, you got a deal. We'll take them all.
Ken and Simon privately question Earl, but he refuses to talk. After being released, Earl goes to JoJo's house and slips her a warning note inside an envelope mixed in with the regular mail, which Josie collects without realizing its importance. Earl doesn't know Ken and Simon followed him and begins surveillance outside the house. That night, when JoJo arrives home, the investigators recognize her as the black woman mentioned in the YouTube video. She steps out of her car and dances in her driveway, celebrating the deal she made earlier. The next morning, JoJo argues with Josie and ignores the mail, then drives to the stash house as usual. Ken and Simon follow her and spot Connie there as well, realizing she matches Greg's description of the blonde. Simon calls in additional postal inspectors to officially start the operation. With the new information, identifying Connie and JoJo becomes easy, especially after Greg confirms them from a photo. Later that night, JoJo can't fall asleep. After checking on her mother, she heads into the kitchen to grab something to eat. That's when she finally discovers Earl's note, warning her to leave town immediately. Unfortunately, it's already too late. Simon arrives with his team and arrests Connie, JoJo, and Josie. After their homes and the stash house are searched, the arrests make the news. Earl is shocked when he sees JoJo's face on television. Once questioning begins, Rick and Josie quickly state they had nothing to do with the operation and agree to cooperate with authorities. JoJo tries to act innocent and claims she doesn't know what they're talking about, but investigators find her videos saved on her computer. Connie, however, confesses to her role. She's stunned when she learns they could be facing anywhere from 40 years to life in prison for fraud. When she's told the charges against JoJo would be reduced if Connie takes full responsibility for starting everything, Connie agrees to the deal. JoJo is released on bail. She assumes Josie paid it, but instead, Earl is waiting for her outside with flowers. It was him who posted bail. Connie isn't as fortunate. Rick visits her only to criticize her and refuses to pay her bail, prompting Connie to ask for a divorce. The investigation continues, and inspectors eventually trace the coupons back to Alejandro and Rosa. However, by the time this discovery is made, the couple has already vanished. With no remaining leads, the Mexican government declines to pursue the case. Connie hires an expensive lawyer, and it turns out to be a smart move. On the day of the trial, the lawyer convinces the court that Connie and JoJo simply exploited a loophole, much like large corporations do all the time. The strategy works. JoJo is sentenced to 10 days in jail and 1 year of probation, while Connie receives 11 months in prison with the possibility of parole. Simon and Ken are unhappy with the outcome and demand an explanation from the state attorney. He tells them the judge went easy on the women because the brands involved pushed for leniency to avoid negative publicity. For corporations of that size, the $80 million lost is barely noticeable. With the case closed, Simon prepares to leave. Before he goes, he tells Ken that he's a good man and that he enjoyed working with him, but also advises him to tone down his attitude. As time passes, everyone's lives begin to change. Ken starts behaving more kindly at work, occasionally letting longtime customers slide with fake coupons, and finally works up the nerve to create a dating profile. Connie gets the divorce she wanted, and her fertility treatment is successful, so she serves her prison sentence while visibly pregnant. Authorities seize most of the money from the scam, but they overlook the boxes stored in the nursery, assuming they only contain food. JoJo recovers them, knowing Connie had been hiding cash inside the boxes the entire time. After getting together with Earl, JoJo moves with him to Montenegro, a country without extradition, where they begin planning a new scam under a different cosmetics brand. They wait for Connie to be released so the three of them can reunite and work together once again. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.